Hallo Miners, and welcome back. I got a fun one for you this week, and I know I always say that, but this week I am extremely excited to play this deck because it's an archetype I genuinely love, but I don't get to play that often. This is some good old-fashioned Loam Pox brought to you by a donation from Art Vandalay PhD, back yet again, who wanted to see some grindy, control-y, attrition-based magic and wanted me to highlight a new card out of Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander in the form of Teval's Judgement. So what this card does is it's a 3-mana enchantment that it triggers every time a card leaves your graveyard, and it's got 3 modes, and you can choose each mode once per turn. So that means you can do it on your turn and your opponent's turn. The stipulation is that the card has to leave your graveyard. So being a card leaving your graveyard engine fits perfectly into the Loam Pox strategy because you're constantly going to be having lands and life from the Loam entering and leaving your graveyard. So it's super easy to be able to actually trigger all 3 modes in a single turn. The modes are draw a card, create a treasure token, or create a 2/2 black druid creature token. So this gives you card advantage, it gives you mana ramp, and to compensate for the fact that you're sacrificing your lands to Smallpox, or sacrificing your Wastelands, your Urza Sagas, your Ghost Quarter, to make sure that you can still establish your mana and keep going with your game plan, and it presents a clock to be able to beat your opponent down, and the creature tokens are super replaceable, so you don't feel bad sacrificing those to a Smallpox. So that is the engine that we are trying to assemble with this deck. And those who've been around the format for a while know what Loam Pox is. It's an attrition-based strategy where you are denying your opponent mana and cards by attacking their mana with wastelands, making them sacrifice lands, their hand, and their creatures with Smallpox, hitting the hand even harder with stuff like Liliana the Veil, and then once you run them out of resources and can get a lockdown where you keep them from having resources, you just end up winning the game with your Urza Saga tokens or some kind of small recurable creature. In the past, it's been Bloodghast, but Bloodghast kind of got crept out of the format, and actually the original deck list sent to me by Art had Bloodghast, and what you're seeing in front of you now is actually a tuned and changed deck list based off of conversations I've had with Art and some conversations that Art has had over on the Pox Discord channel as well. So thank you to Art and the Pox community for helping craft this deck list. Some other notable cards that are in this deck is we have a full playset of Orcish Bowmasters to be able to fight against the tempo decks and all the card draw going around. It's also nice to be able to sacrifice the Orc Army token to your Smallpox because you're probably going to get it back later anyways. We also have Malevolent Rumble to help find your lands and to help fuel your graveyard and get your Loam into the graveyard as you go. The one of spicy thing we got here is actually Formless Genesis. This is an inclusion that was sent from the Pox community. It is a 3-mana kindred sorcery that creates an XX changeling with Death Touch that X is the number of cards in your graveyard, and it has Retrace. So you can get creatures and more tokens and ways to win the game with this card. And then because of the fact that it has Retrace, you have to discard a card every time you cast it from your graveyard. So just casting it makes sure that your next Formless Genesis token is even bigger than the previous one, and it can result in another endless stream of tokens to be able to beat your opponent down. Outside of that, it's pretty standard Loam Pox style deck. A lot of lands, a lot of utility lands, mana destruction in the form of Wasteland, Beseju, Ghost Quarter to be able to hit basics and start basic stripping your opponent, acceleration with Mox Diamond because you can get the land you discard back with Loam anyways. You've got a full playset of Urza Saga to be able to close out the game and tutor out stuff like Currency Converter and Ghost Vacuum, which are both additional ways to get cards to go in and out of your graveyard to be able to fuel the Teval's Judgement. Some Thoughtseizes for discard, Fatal Push for a little bit of main deck removal, Witherbloom Command just as a good all-around value card. All the modes are relevant in various matchups. And then the top end of the curve with a good old Liliana the Veil to keep stripping your opponent's hand to make sure that they stay out of resources and never really get into a position where they can get back into the game. The sideboard is very dedicated toward beating combo decks, which is what Loam Pox and these attrition style strategies are historically weak against. So we've got a full playset of Leyline of the Void to shut down graveyard decks, Mindbreak Trap to shut down Storm combo decks, and then some of the artifact combo decks. Haywire Might and Pithing Needle as Urza Saga targets for various matchups for hate. Pick Your Poison is a pretty versatile card. It's able to get rid of opponents' enchantments, artifacts, and creatures with flying, which that seems like a really weird restriction, but if you're looking at a lot of the top decks in the format, their top end creatures have flying, such as Murktide Regent, Atraxa, Archon of Cruelty, stuff like that. So it's nice that's able to hit those creatures in addition to be able to get rid of something like an Omniscience and off of a Show and Tell. The downside with Pick Your Poison is it is a sorcery, so the timing is a little wonky. Shoulders Edicts to have more removal and be able to kill stuff you normally wouldn't be able to, like an Emrakul to make your opponent sacrifice it. And then some Toxic Deluges just to be able to mop up the go wide creature strategies that are going around right now that are admittedly a little fringe, but they do pop up, such as your energy decks and stuff like Cradle Control. So I am super excited to run this through a league. I haven't gotten to play Pox in a while, so thank you, Art, for the donation deck list to be able to play this. Thank you to Art and the Pox community for helping me tune this deck list and get it to the point where it is now. Hopefully, we landed on something spectacular here, but let's take it through a league, see how it does. I'll catch you all in the wrap up. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. See from the future here, I want to apologize for the audio on this video. We had some pretty bad storms rolling through that was messing with our electrical and affecting the mic. So I apologize for the subpar audio. It has been fixed. The storms are gone, so it won't be an issue going forward, but thank you for sticking through it. I hope you enjoy the video. On to the gameplay. Alright, let's see if we can get rid of all of our opponent's lands and their entire hand. One the die roll, let's go. This ain't a bad start. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. Turn 1 Bayou into Currency Converter. Turn 2 Saga, or you actually might go Urborg first, and then into Saga on turn 3 to play this Liliana. I think we're actually going to start off with the Urborg. I'm a little concerned about getting hit by a Wasteland and losing our green source here, because we definitely need the green to be able to light from the Loam anything back that they Wasteland. This also turns on our Liliana engine pretty quickly. Alright, Mr. Rainforest from the opponent, so thinking this might be something a little more fair right off of the bat. Into a Forest, Green Sun 4/0 for a Dryad Arbor, so we might be looking at something closer to like Nadu, something potentially fair here. We can always loot this Life from the Loam away, so I think we're just going to play the Bayou Pass and plan on looting through this Life from the Loam, but leaving it in the graveyard. We also could leave it under the Currency Converter to make a treasure. Well, no, to make a dude with it. Okay, so this is specifically why we did this. Because we can loam that back, no problem. And we are going to go ahead and Currency Converter here. Oh, shit, I clicked the wrong thing. God damn it. Okay, that's fine. I meant to loot through. I clicked the wrong ability. I'm not super concerned about that at the moment. I did fuck that up. Into a Sylvan Library, so this might be something kind of mavericky. I'm not super concerned about that getting hit. That being said, let's play Urza Saga. Start ticking this up. Loam back this, because I screwed up. Oh, I don't have the mana for it. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Everything is fine. It's whatever. Already off to a rough start. It's been a hell of a week. Let's just put it that way. But what should have happened here is I should have cycled through my deck a little bit more, but it's fine. We're probably just going to chuck a Bayou to put under this. And then next turn, we'll either Liliana or start making Construct tokens. I'm not sure what yet. Ooh, they got aggressive and kept 2. Okay. Alright, Misty Rainforest. And getting in. I'm wondering if that means they have an Endurance. Yeah, this is very clearly telegraphing that they have an Endurance. So I'm not going to chuck Loam yet. Okay, we're going to do this the right way now. Oh my, what the fuck? Why does it keep choosing the wrong mode? Is currency converter bugged or am I just clicking the wrong fucking thing? Okay, well, that's annoying as hell, but I have no idea why. Like, I must be clicking the wrong mode or something. I don't know. We're going to do the destroy target permanent and kill a creature mode. We're going to blow up the Sylvan Library, kill the Dryad Arbor, tap this correctly. Alright, destroy target creature. Give something -3, -1. Destroy that, kill that, tap. Tap for green. Okay, we're going to do this right. I'm anticipating a flashed in endurance here. Force of will. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can crawl back into this. I don't know what the hell was going on with currency converter there, but we'll see. We can always make a dude. We could just play Liliana the Veil. Okay, they didn't keep anything extra this time. They chucked 2 forces for this. Tundra. Okay, so they are Bant. So this could just be a weird version of Bant Nadu. Alright, they got a Savannah off of that Misty. Green Sun for 3 is probably a Nadu. Oh, it's an Uro. Okay. And they have enough to be able to get it back right away. That's mostly fine, but we can go get our Ghost Vacuum and eat it. Or we just draw the Ghost Vacuum. I guess that works too. We're gonna make a dude. And we're gonna go ahead and grab a Mox Diamond, chuck Urza Saga. We will put Urza Saga under this. And then we haven't played a land yet, so let's go ahead and create a treasure off of this. We are going to Life from the Loam back our lands. And then we can get a land drop, play Ghost Vacuum. Assuming they don't have another counter. Okay, they apparently don't. We will replay Urza Saga. And we will play Ghost Vacuum. Everything's been resolving so far. And then we're going to eat this Uro. And we're not even going to bother waiting. Whoops. I'm just clicking the wrong modes on everything right now. Okay, so we've kind of got the hooks in. They're down to 4 cards. We have a creature. We have an engine online. And we are ramping our mana. So we can start making constructs and play Lily, hopefully. Alright, so, wow, we might actually be up against like a check pile deck, grabbing a scrub land. Alright, just getting rid of a Swords of Plowshares. That's totally fine by me. I don't like that they have selection going on here, but soon we're going to be able to start ripping their hand apart. And they're not keeping the cards, which is good. So they're not actually going up cards with it at the moment. Bayou from the opponent. Another Green Sun for 3. Is this going to be a Nadu? No, Endurance. Okay, that's fine. I'm not actually super worried about that at all. I didn't really need the loan to continue going at this point, and I can always find another one. Alright, so how do we want to start this? Let's start with Lily, and then we are each going to discard a card. I am going to discard a land. Alright, opponent's going to brainstorm in response. That's fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to discard a land, put it under currency converter, put it back into the graveyard to get a treasure token, play our own land, and then plan on just making an Urza Saga token to be able to block this Endurance. So we're going to chuck Bayou. Opponent chucked the Bowmasters. We are going to use Currency Converter's ability. Yes. We are then going to put this back into the graveyard to make a token, play another Urza Saga, and then we are going to pass the turn, with the plan on making tokens and just kind of continuing this trend of what we're doing here. And hope that it's enough to get us over the finish line. They are going to start being in a position where they can't afford to be taking cards, because we are going to have a stream of very large constructs. Unless they randomly have... Oh, they kept a card. Like I said, unless they randomly have some sort of like main deck enchantment sweeper to just wipe out like everything here. Something like a Seeds of Innocence or a Serenity, but those aren't really main deck cards. Alright, opponent's moving into combat. Getting in at Lily, we will make a dude. This makes me think they might have a Swords to Plowshares, which, if they can get one through, that's fine. It doesn't kill the Lily. I can tick it up again and just keep doing this. It looks like this is a Swords to Plowshares. No, it's a Leyline Binding. What are they going to go after? The Construct? Or are they just going to hit the Lily? No, they're hitting the Construct. Lily goes to 1. That's fine. Like I said, the Lily's not dead. It actually would have been funny if they went after the Lily. Okay, that's how they're going to kill the Lily. Got it. Okay, that's fine. I'm not super concerned about a Bowmasters at this point. They're down to 1 card. We honestly kind of have the hooks in. Let's just start eating stuff out of their graveyard. Try to keep it clear for if Uro comes down. Another land. Okay. We are going to make a dude. We are going to go find another Mox Diamond. Chuck this Verdant under it. Put the Verdant under the currency converter. Yes, we are going to do that. We are then going to play another Urza Saga. Is there any way that I can do this to be able to make Lily and still make my tokens? Because we can get them empty-handed. Because it's 3 to make Lily, but then I can't make another token off of this. Because it's 3, I can make 1. Am I better off dropping Lily now or just making constructs? I think I'm better off just making constructs for right now. So I'm going to pass with the plan of just making dudes. I will drop Lily next turn. Alright, put 2 cards back. That's fine. They're not to the point where they can play and then escape Uro in the same turn, so I'm not super worried about that yet. Ooh, Teferi Time Raveler. Okay, that's interesting. They're going to bounce one of the tokens. That's fine-ish. Like, I definitely need a way to deal with this, but I have ways to kill it. So I'm not super, super concerned about this yet. I'm also going to be able to start going wide of this. I'm hoping those punts in the first couple of turns don't come back to bite me, but we'll see. They also could get to a point where they can bounce this Leyline Binding. Okay, they care about that. Let's just eat... I don't know if there's anything in their graveyard that particularly matters, but let's eat Force of Will. They can blow up our Ghost Vacuum. That's fine for right now. They've milled a Leyline Binding, a Delighted Halfling. Okay, they got a Wasteland. Again, this isn't the end of the world. We still have a lot of things we can do here. They're going to kill this one. Okay, that's fine. And then we will make a dude. Is their last card a Swords to Plowshares? Oh, I didn't need to double tap there. We're fine. Whatever. All right, they're going to pass the turn. Let's go ahead and do this. Get a treasure token out of the deal. Orcish Bowmasters. Let's make a dude. I think we're just going to kill the, whatchamacallit here. There's nothing for us to find here because let's let their Mox Diamonds. I think we are actually going to go ahead and just kill the Teferi here. Flash this in, bonk the Teferi, start getting in attacks. This also shuts off their cantrips. And then if they want to trade their whole board for a single construct token, I'm okay with this. And then next turn we drop Lily, start going to town. Alright, they're just going to chump block, that's fine. So our plan is next turn, depending on what we draw, we're just going to drop Lily and then start going to town. Tapping some mana, then untapping. Another Teferi, okay. What are they going to bounce? Nahiri, hey. The nice part is we instantly kill the Teferi for that move, and it grows our Orc army a little bit. So that was kind of just treated as a removal spell. Do they have one more card in hand? Alright, so they're like full 5 colors something over there. Is this like a Minsc and Boo? Ugh, it is a Minsc and Boo. Okay, this is bad. I was feeling really good about where we were, but gonna tick up the Boo. Okay. Are they going to leave it on defense? Yes, leaving it on D, that's fine. Okay. We hit a life from the Loam. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead. We actually have the mana to do all of this. So let's go ahead and play Liliana. I'm a little concerned about this Minsc and Boo, but we should be able to crack in and potentially kill it here. So let's make you sack a creature. They're probably just going to sack their Dryad Arbor. It served its purpose. Let's get back. Verdant, Urza Saga, Verdant. Play another Urza Saga. Alright, so we can threaten the Boo if we want to crack in with our Construct, which is probably our best bet here. Force them to block. They're just going to block with the Bowmaster. If they chump with something else, I'm actually pretty okay with that. Yep, they're chumping with the Bowmaster. That's fine. Bowmaster's down, and now we just kind of see what they do here. They can't use the Sylvan Library unless they want to start taking damage off of Orcish Bowmasters. And they don't, so they're just drawing blind here. They can take up the Boo. I do have some removal spells to be able to take out the Boo. Alright, they don't tick up pre-combat. Interesting. Does that mean that they're planning on chucking it then? Yeah, they're getting it at the Lily, so I think that means they're planning on throwing this at the Bowmaster to draw some cards. Which, if they throw it at the Bowmasters, I can crack in and kill Boo on the crackback, assuming they don't draw anything relevant off of the draw 4. But they also have to be worried because they are down to 6 already. And I'm going to start having another stream of tokens here. Okay, they're going to Swords the Bowmasters. That was their last card. Now they can draw freely. Okay, they are going to chuck this at something. Are they chucking it at face or are they No, they're chucking it at the token. Okay. They found a land. So they're just like 5-color check pile stuff over there. And they're passing the turn. Okay. I don't think I want to dredge here. I'm just going to naturally draw. Wasteland isn't really doing anything at the moment, so let's just drop another Urza Saga and plan on just making more construct tokens. And we will threaten the Boo here, see if they chump block or if they got something else going on. Another Swords to Plowshares. Okay. This is a very, very grindy game all of a sudden. They now can start doing their stuff again with this, but we're going to hope that our construct tokens can kind of just get us there. I hope that we can just eventually get an overwhelming board of those between Life from the Loam and doing everything else. What is this? Green Sun for 3 for what? Another Uro. They don't have the mana to be able to escape it right away. Unfortunately, all of our graveyard hate is now gone, so they can eventually get it back. I'm not sure there's any way to fully get around what's going on here. I'm also just debating if we need to block this Boo. Because it does just give a... Oh, they're not even attacking. Okay. Alright, so in that case then, let's make a dude. And let's activate this. I don't think we're going to draw here. Malevolent Rumble's interesting. Let's put Verdant Catacombs under it. Yeah, we'll put Verdant Catacombs under here. Untap. Draw. We're going to take a natural draw for now, just in case we get something that can take out Minskimbu. But we don't. So let's make a dude. Grab another Mox Diamond, because it actually grows our stuff. Because we can chuck Wasteland. Yes. Let's put that under there. Okay. So I can pretty freely Malevolent Rumble here. I don't hate Orcish Bowmasters. That's actually not bad. We can cast Orcish Bowmasters, or... Like, I don't hate Bowmasters. It's more bodies on the board. Or we can just wait and make another construct. Let's grab the Bowmasters for now. It gives us options here. And then let's see how they want to block. Because we can attack Boo here. See how they want to block this. If they double block it, that's fine. Okay, they're just going to block like that. That's fine. I've also still got mana this way. So I actually can kind of do everything. But they know about the Bowmasters. It's just a question of, do we want a Bowmasters now or not? I think we do. Because if I Bowmasters, I still can't make a token. However, I can Thought Seize them. And then make my decisions from there. Yeah, we'll just Thought Seize them. I still can Bowmasters if I need to. Minskimbu Force of Will. Let's take the Minskimbu. And then we will pass the turn. We still can go ahead and make a construct token if we need to. We can Minskimbu if we want to. Or Orcish Bowmasters. I think we'll let them take their draw here. Because they can always just Force of Will this Orcish Bowmasters. Alright, put 2 back. They can get Uro back, but I'm not super concerned about that yet. And they have the mana to be able to Uro plus, whatchamacallit. They're also very much at the risk of just decking themselves here. I think I might just be better off just like still trying to just make a giant wall of construct tokens here. They also could have multiple endurances. This is Uro. Well, they actually don't have the mana to force a will now. I think we're going to go ahead and Bowmasters here. If the other card is a blue card, so be it, but it empties their hand. Okay, it was a force of will. It empties their hand, which is fine because our constructs are going to be bigger than this Uro very, very quickly. They're back up to 10 momentarily, but we're just going to keep doing the value engine of construct tokens. All right, ticking up on the boo, that's fine. We are also at so much life, I don't think any of this particularly matters at this point. We just have to keep crashing in. I think I do want a Loam here. Let's make a dude. No point in grabbing another whatchamacallit here. There aren't any left in the deck anyways. Saga, Saga, Saga. Grab all of our Sagas. Play another Saga. We can still make our constructs bigger. And then we are just going to bash in everything at the Minskimbu. Just try to get it off of the battlefield here. See if they're willing to give up on it yet. Or if they're just going to double block to keep it alive. Alright, they're going to double block to keep it alive. And then they're going to try to make their boo big enough to kill it. Okay. Okay, they're giving up on the boo. That's fine. It's weird that they're favoring this endurance. Unless they're trying to find another Teferi. Also, it's of note, this is game 1, and our opponent is down to almost only 10 minutes left. Alright, takes those blocks, lose their creatures. Uro's back in the graveyard, they can get it back, but we're eventually just going to try to overwhelm them with these construct tokens. Like, they can get Uro back, they are going to churn through their deck. I'm assuming they have at least 3 more Leyline bindings. Well, 2 more. I forgot we milled over 1. It's just a matter of how many endurance do they have? Can they actually, like, keep looping their deck? Alright, they kept a card, so that's interesting. Played a Misty, cracking the Misty. Do they have any fetchables left? Yes, they still have fetchables. Is this Uro back already? Probably. Like, the thing is, though, is, like, we don't plan on actually really doing anything for the rest of the game. We could start trying to, like, wasteland them off of stuff so that they just can't cast what they draw. But our main game plan at this point is just to keep looping sagas with Life from the Loam. Like, that's kind of just our main game plan here. Yeah, you can get Uro back. That's fine. And I think we're going to go ahead and just loot with the currency converter here so that we can draw our Life from the Loam. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just make a token. Just grow our constructs even bigger. There's a Brainstorm. That's fine. Our opponent also is very much in risk of decking themselves if they don't have more endurances. Alright, ticking up on the boo. That's fine. You could try to crack in for a little damage here. Alright, opponent's doing something here. Witherbloom command, mill 3 cards, and gain 2 life. Okay. Milled 2 Green Suns and a Delighted Halfling. Got a Wasteland back. They can Wasteland the Urza Saga. That's actually kind of fine. Play a Delighted Halfling. That's okay. I think they played a land for turn already, yeah. They're just trying to clog up the board, it looks like. Like, we have the Loam loop going on, so I'm not super concerned here. We can check the Wasteland. Just grow our constructs a little bit. Untap, upkeep. I think at this point we just dredge the Loam back. Like, it's safer in our hand at this point than anything else. Play another Urza Saga. Okay, and our opponent finally scoops it up. Okay, I guess those punts at the beginning didn't really matter that much. That being said, we definitely want to bring in Pithing Needle. I think we want to bring in Haywire Might. Probably bring in the... Do we want the Picker Poisons, or is Haywire Might enough? Because, like, this can get them to sack their Sylvan Library, but Haywire Might can kill that as well. This can shut down Minskimbu. I actually think I want the Shoulder's Edicts more than the Picker Poisons, because that can make them sacrifice a Planeswalker as well. There's also a part of me that kind of wants to bring in the Leyline of the Void and the Toxic Deluges, but I also don't know what we want to take out to be able to do all of that is the problem. Like, this shuts down Uro shenanigans. and stops them from being able to loop their deck with Endurance, if that's what they're trying to do. This can mop up the board so that we can start crashing through, but I think it's just a matter of how badly do we think we need to try to keep Uro in check, considering we have Ghost Vacuum. I don't think we really need to that much. I think we can trim a Malevolent Rumble, one life from the Loam, one Teval's Judgment. Formless Genesis is interesting, but I think we might actually just trim that. So that takes care of all of this. It's just a matter of, do we want to bring the Deluges in or not to try to clear the board out for our constructs? Because like they've got Bowmasters and stuff too. I don't know. Let's try this, and if we do end up going to a game 3, we can adjust accordingly. Okay, I mean, this is a good start, so we're going to go ahead and keep this. Verdant from the opponent. So our logic here is probably going to be start off on either Bayou or Barrenmoor, depending on what they do, and set up to start doing Loamy stuff. Okay, well, Delighted Halfling, we can just kill that. So we'll start off on the Bayou and just bolt the Halfling right off the bat, or push the Halfling into a Wasteland. Okay, let's go ahead and play Bayou. We're just going to do this now. Just get them off of their mana ramp. If they counter that, it's a 2-for-1. We're a little iffy on colors if they have a Wasteland, but it looks like no. Zenith for 0 for a Dryad Arbor. If they're having issues with mana, I think we're just going to go ahead and capitalize on that. And we can also always cycle this Barrenmoor. Alright, looks like they're screwed on mana, so I think we are just going to go ahead and cycle this Barrenmoor here. Let's cycle the Barrenmoor into a Verdant Catacombs. Let's go for the flawless victory here, especially since I drew another Wasteland. Oh, they're surgicaling our Wastelands. Okay, well, that sucks, but overall it's fine. We'll just Malevolent Rumble instead. Like, we'll play Saga, play Rumble, see what we can find. Alright, play Saga. And then we will Rumble. And so the problem is even if we grab Urza Saga, it's still open. We're going to grab the Mox Diamond, I think, and play it. Just to start setting up Loamy stuff. Chuck the Verdant. And then we will loam back Saga, Verdant. And just hope that they don't have another Surgical. Did I do that wrong? Saga. Tap for colorless. Tap for green. Okay, there we go. I must have tapped for the wrong color mana or something. We kind of just gotta hope that... Okay, they did have another Surgical. That's good. And now we have... Okay, they're gonna... They did have another Surgical, but they went for the Loam instead. Okay. That's totally fine as well. I was more worried about them going after the Sagas. Okay. So we are out of Loams and we are out of Wastelands. We still have a Ghost Quarter. We have Fatal Pushes and stuff to be able to kill this. They're slowly starting to get their mana under them. We're going to be able to start making a just absolute fuck ton of Construct tokens. I don't think we're in a position to need to start casting these Teval's Judgments yet, considering until we get a currency converter or a Ghost Vacuum, we can't really capitalize on them yet. But that's probably what we're going to do after we get this Urza Saga to do its thing. Alright, they're just passing the turn. We're going to go ahead and fetch our Underground Mortuary, get a Surveillance. I like Fatal Push. We can put that on top. And then we're going to make a dude. And then we are going to draw said Fatal Push. We are going to make another dude. We are going to go grab our... I think we want our currency converter here. Play another Saga. Fatal Push the Dryad Arbor. And crack in for 4. And now we can get value off of our Teval's Judgments. Which... And they just scoop it up anyways. Okay, already taken down our first match with this Loam Pox. I like it. We didn't get to see Teval's Judgment. We were working up to it. I just wanted to establish control of the board before we did it, but they scooped it up before we could do anything. Okay, on to the next one. All right, round 2 up against Island Ponder Scoop. I know I've seen this player. I want to say they do play Island Ponder decks. But we won the die roll, so let's go. Yeah, this is a fantastic hand. We're going to keep this. It's just a matter of what do I want to chuck to this currency converter, or to this Mox Diamond. I think we're going to chuck the Ghost Quarter. And I think what we're going to do is Mox Diamond, chuck the Ghost Quarter, play Currency Converter, play Underground Mortuary. And our opponent is already going to 5. Maybe they're not on a island pot. Oh, to 4? They are definitely on Oops, and I'm fucking terrified. Maybe I'm not going to chuck this Ghost Quarter after all. If they're going all the way to 4, this makes me think they're either to 3. Holy shit. If that's the case, I might actually do something crazy here and turn 1 Smallpox. Like, if they're going this deep already, I think we're just gonna do that. Like, it feels weird to turn 1 Smallpox already, but I am terrified of what they got going on over there if this is what they're willing to do. So we're gonna cast Mox Diamond. I think we're chucking Underground Mortuary here. And as weird as this seems, I think we're smallpoxing. Let's grab just a basic swamp since we're gonna lose it anyways. Like, this is a called shot and a half here. This also could just be like LED Echo Wheel, but this is my like called. Oh, it's a Reanimator deck. Okay, that also is terrifying. I need my Ghost Vacuum and I need it like yesterday. Bloodstained Mire. Okay, is this mono black? Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, we'll play Ghost Quarter pass. Plan on flashing in Bowmasters in case this is like go for Gristlebrand Tin Fins kind of shit. Cracking the Bloodstained Mire into a basic swamp. Okay, so there's no point in Ghost Quartering them. Okay, there's Entomb. Into Atraxa. Okay, do they have another reanimation spell? Unfortunately, Atraxa does get around Bowmasters. They did chuck a reanimation spell, but there's more of those in the deck than there are Entomb style effects. So we're gonna drop the Bowmaster. Unfortunately, Atraxa is one that we're worried about here. Like I said, I need to find my Ghost Vacuum. Wasteland doesn't really do anything here, but let's get in. It's basically just dodging until we find a way to deal with what they got going on here. I think we'll tap the Ghost Quarter for this. We can just like draw to loot through our deck, but I don't think we're going to yet. I am just terrified of them finding a Reanimate to get this Atraxa back, because unfortunately Atraxa gets around Bowmasters because it doesn't draw the cards. Alright, ship the turn. There's a Lotus Petal. Do they have an Animate dead? No. Okay. We're still dodging for now. Into an Urborg. I think we're gonna activate this. Oh my god, I clicked the wrong fucking mode again. God damn it. Okay. Well, let's get in and attack. I keep clicking the wrong fucking mode. Alright, hit him to 13. Play an Urborg, and I guess we just pass the turn for now. We still just gotta dodge them finding a reanimation spell. But there's probably 8 of them in the deck. Alright, we're still dodging. Another Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, I mean, we're gonna get in. And then we're gonna cast the Bowmasters. After blocks. Because I'm trying to get to the point where a Reanimate isn't gonna be online. One more attack and it's gotta be Animate dead. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Dark Ritual, what are they doing? Ooh, they found the Animate dead. Okay. I guess we'll see what they hit from here. Hopefully this is a bad Atraxa. Okay, Gristlebrands are fine. Okay, this is actually better than it could be. This does give us a chance to be able to find another Smallpox or Liliana or something to be able to kill this Atraxa. Because Gristlebrand is essentially dead. There's no way they can get that back and activate it because they just die. So this could have been a lot worse. Granted, I don't know what other cards they have in their Reanimator suite to be able to Entomb and Reanimate. They chose Gristlebrand, Animate Dead, Bloodstained Mire, Entomb, Lotus Petal, Cabal Therapy. Alright, playing out a bunch of stuff here. That was a very big refuel. What do they have in their suite of cards here? Archon of Cruelty. Yeah, I don't think we can come back from this now. Yeah, they managed to find it. We'll go to the next one. We have a lot of stuff to be able to get through all of this, so we'll just go to our sideboard games. So for what our opponent is doing, bring in the ley lines, bring in the pick your poisons. We could easily take out Witherbloom. I hate to say it, but Trima Tevils. Fatal Push is pretty much dead. We can take those out. And then probably trim one Malevolent Rumble. And let's try something like that. Okay, so during sideboarding, our opponent disconnected. So hopefully they come back. I actually like this. We're going to go ahead and keep. It's a turn 1 Ghost Vacuum. So we have protection on turn 1. Okay, looks like they came back. That's good. The question just becomes is what do we want to lead off on? I think we are going to lead off on Urborg. So start on Urborg, play a Ghost Vacuum. We have the graveyard covered as long as they can't get multiple things into the graveyard. We also have a Pick Your Poison to make them sacrifice a creature that does sneak in. Unfortunately, Pick Your Poison is a sorcery. Okay, opponent's going to Thoughtseize us. That's mostly fine. We're probably just going to lead off onto Urza Saga next and try to start getting construct tokens down because they can take Pick Your Poison or Smallpox. I'm assuming they're going to take the Pick Your Poison. No, they took the Smallpox. Interesting. Does that mean that they're low on lands? Alright, and they pass the turn. That's mostly fine. We draw a Leyline in the Void, which is good. So we're just going to play out the Urza Saga, start making construct tokens, and hopefully we can get to the point where we play the Leyline. They do have a lot of rituals and Lotus Petals, so there is a world where if this game goes on long enough, they can just hardcast their big stuff. Bloodstained Mire from the opponent, Lotus Petal. Are they trying to get to a point where they can hardcast a Gristlebrand or something? Not yet, no. Okay. Ooh, Formless Genesis. That's interesting. I think we're just going to play the Ghost Quarter and pass for now. Work on just working our way up to casting this Leyline, or I might start casting Formless Genesis, because I'm probably going to go grab... Okay, I can grab Mortuary, that's fine. I'm probably going to go grab a Mox Diamond, which means I'm going to chuck this Beseiju, and then the Urza Saga is going to go in the graveyard. And then that gives me enough mana to be able to Formless Genesis to start getting beaters that way as well. But we'll see what happens. We might get Currency Converter, I don't know. If we find a Life from the Loam, that changes our plans as well. I actually really would like a Life from the Loam. They also could be on the Witherbloom Apprentice Juke. We didn't see green in game 1, but green very much means that they could be on a Witherbloom Juke. That could also be why they took the Smallpox. Alright, whatever it is, they kept it on top. Alright, do we get got by Witherbloom combo? Another land. Unfortunately, I wasn't anticipating the Witherbloom Juke. I should have, so I boarded out all of my removal. They're unmasking themselves, pitching a Cabal Therapy to get an Emrakul into the graveyard. Do they have two Shallow Graves is the question. They started paying for something. Do they actually have two? No, they have an Entomb. What else do they have that they want to get back? Gristlebrand, maybe? No, Atraxa. Okay, so depending on how this goes, we have an answer for the Atraxa. So we just got to see how bad this Atraxa trigger is. They have an Unmask. That's annoying, but their Atraxa is going to get gone anyways. Okay, we're probably just dead here. They can just Entomb, Reanimate, whatever at this point. So, I mean, we are yielding until the end step. They were able to get enough layers over just a Ghost Vacuum, and we were a turn too short from being able to get down this ley line to prevent all of this. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens here. I mean, granted, they can't take Dark Ritual and Entomb, so they could unmask their own Gristlebrand. They could take... Well, no, they can't do that either, because then they can't take Reanimate. So this is actually a very interesting choice for them, because there's so much redundancy in this, they can't really get part A and B together. So this is actually a much harder, or a much worse Atraxa pile than I initially thought. Because they can't get Entomb plus Dark Ritual plus... Like, they can't get Entomb plus Dark Ritual. They can't get Reanimate plus Unmask. They already played their land for turn, so they've only got 1 mana to work with. They could just try to unmask me to see what's in my hand. They could also grab Dark Ritual Gristlebrand land to try to set up to just hardcast Gristlebrand. Alright, they chose Gristlebrand, Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize, Bloodstained Mire. So I think they're setting up to try to just hardcast Gristlebrand. And I'm assuming they're going to Thoughtseize to grab our Pick Your Poison. Because that's our answer for Gristlebrand. We would like to draw one of our discard spells. They might also just take Leyline of the Void to try to go off with Gristlebrand next turn. No, they did take the Pick Your Poison. They don't actually have... Why did they not attack with the Atraxa? Did they just forget it has haste? Okay, I mean, that's a thing. They don't actually have the mana to be able to do this yet. We also could get rid of their green source with our Boseiju, but let's see what we draw first. Okay, I don't hate Smallpox. Do I want to make another dude? Because they don't have the mana to actually do it yet. They've only got 6 mana. I think I want to just try to press my advantage here. Let's make a dude. And let's get a Mox Diamond. Just make our shit bigger to make this as awkward as possible. And then we can try to Formless Genesis next turn. I want to make it so that they can activate Gristlebrand as few times as possible, basically. Because they still don't have enough mana to actually do it. Okay, that's good. What do we draw? We draw Wasteland. So we can either play Leyline, or what I actually think we're going to do is we're going to Wasteland, take out their green source, keep them off of their mana for Gristlebrand, and we are going to play a Formless Genesis, which this was an inclusion from the Pox community here, and this is the first time I've ever actually cast it, but the fact that it has Retrace is nice. And now they're going to go down to 3, so they can't even activate Gristlebrand now. And they got a Dark Ritual Gristlebrand unknown. They have no way to get enough mana to be able to go off. They would need exactly Witherbloom and Chain of Smog to be their unknowns to be able to win from here. They bend and unmask. So yeah, it would need to be literally Witherbloom Apprentice, Chain of Smog to be able to win from this position. Dark Ritual doesn't do it. They could have 2 Dark Rituals to play a Gristlebrand, but we have the Smallpox to kill them. Because they can't activate the Gristlebrand. Okay, cool. We snuck that one out, even through a return to Traxa. So the question becomes is, do we respect the Witherbloom juke? I think we do. We bring in the Shoulders Edicts to deal with that. And as much as I hate it, I think we're taking out all of the Teval's Judgments. I'm sorry, Art. But this matchup is just way, way too fast to be trying to grind out value with Teval's Judgment at this point. So let's try that. Alright, so unfortunately we pretty much have to mulligan for a Leyline here. Well, we opened up on a Leyline. I actually like this hand. It's a little slower than I would like starting off on a tapped Barrenmoor, but hopefully we draw an untapped land so we can Thoughtseize on one. But we're going to keep this. It's got the Leyline, it's got lands, it's got stuff to do, and we can get our Loam engine online pretty quickly. Like, we could get Loam online as early as turn 2 if we just want to cast a naked Loam to get it into our graveyard. Chances are we're probably either going to Thoughtseize or Malevolent Rumble on 2, depending on what we draw and what our opponent does. Alright, Leyline in, let's go. Alright, Underground Mortuary from the opponent. See if they keep it or they bin it. These also could just be in the deck purely for Surveil value. They might not even have the juke. Bin to Spoils of the Vault, okay. Like, that is something to be known, is these could literally just be there for Surveil value. They might not even have the juke at all. Well, we're playing the Barrenmoor, passing the turn. I like Lily. However, it's a little slow to deal with Witherbloom combo if that's what they have. Polluted Delta from the opponent. Another black land would be nice. That way I can Smallpox if they just play Witherbloom Apprentice here. There's also a world where if they have Dark Ritual, Witherbloom Apprentice, and Chain of Smog, we're just dead. Alright, they're Cabal Therapying me. What are they naming? I mean, there's any number of things in here that they could name. Okay, they do hit on the Smallpox. And now they see what we got going on here. It's just going to be a question of, do we want to Thoughtseize or do we want to Malevolent Rumble? It's going to depend on what we draw. I think we might play it a little slow here and Thoughtseize, just see what's going on over there. Oh, they're unmasking us, so what are they taking here? They chucked an Animate Dead. They probably take the Thoughtseize, yeah. Okay, so this makes me think that they do have, like, Witherbloom combo. Well, I can't do anything, so we will F6 through the turn, see what we draw. We draw a Swamp. I don't think we need them to know about this, so let's play Malevolent Rumble. Play what they know about. We could Mox Diamond right now and set up our graveyard, and then they know everything we have, or we could grab a land. I think we're just going to grab the Mox Diamond, set up to be able to Lily next turn, and hope that they literally don't have the nuts here. And then I actually will go ahead and fire off this Loam right now, because this little dude ain't doing anything for us at this point. So we'll fire off our Loam now, get this stuff back, set up to be able to Liliana and Wasteland them next turn, or we can start getting our Saga going. They also could have a Surgical here to take out either. Okay, they didn't. So, yet again, we kind of just need to dodge the nuts here. And then between Lily and Wasteland, I think we can go ahead and kind of just start, like, restricting our opponent from doing anything and just forcing them into top deck mode. Alright, they're fetching. Another Underground Mortuary. Get us more Surveil in. Okay, they binned a Chain of Smog, so I'm guessing that means they have one in hand already. So again, we kind of have to dodge the nuts of Dark Ritual, Chain of Smog, Witherbloom Apprentice. As long as we can survive this turn, I think we have the hooks in. Alright, so it looks like we might be dodging this turn. Okay. We will Dredge Light from the Loam. Okay. So we are going to start out with Lily, and then we will have each player discard card. There's something to be said about the sequencing here. I might have wanted to, like, Wasteland first, go to second main, then Lily. Because our opponent looked like they were starting to pay costs for something. We'll check the light from the Loam. They chuck a Spoils. And then we're going to get rid of an Underground Mortuary. Okay. I like where we're at now. And now we can kind of just start taking our time and just start loaming stuff back. They did have another land. And our opponent scoops it up. Okay, we took down what I'm assuming is Mono Black Reanimator. Okay, on to the next one. Alright, round 3, up against Ella1, who's toward the top of the trophy board right now. I want to say they've been playing a bunch of oops. So we will try to plan our handout accordingly. I like this, we'll keep, and hope that we're not just dead on turn 1. But we'll see. Alright, they mulligan to 6. We're going to start out with Verdant Catacombs, into Mox Diamond, planning on surveilling. And we'll just see if we're dead on turn 1. Like I said, I think I've seen them playing a bunch of Oops All spells lately, so I'm expecting these to be extremely fast. Okay, it's not. Ooh, this actually looks like it's Cradle control. Okay. That is mostly fine. We can either kill that with a Smallpox, or we can Lily it away. We might just Smallpox, honestly, especially if we see a Light from the Loam anytime soon. Cabal Pit. Seeing as I'm going to be losing lands, I'm kind of tempted to keep this. That being said, though, I have so many lands. I actually think I am going to keep it, though. I think that's what I'm going to sacrifice to this, and I am sorry, Art. I am probably discarding this Teval's Judgment to the Smallpox. We will play Cabal Pit. We will take a damage for no real reason, unfortunately, but we're going to Smallpox here, wipe their board. And I'm sorry, but we are ditching the Teval's Judgment because I want to be able to play this Liliana next turn. And they lost a Snuff Out. Okay. And then next turn, our plan is pretty much just Lily start ticking it up and hope that we find a Loam. Misty from the opponent. Into a Bayou. Into a Thoughtseize? Okay, well, I guess Lily's down. And now we're just drawing blind to the top of our deck here. Again, a Loam would be great. I actually don't hate Wasteland. We're just going to keep attacking their mana. Since I'm not casting anything that turn anyways, they know our only card in hand is currently a Verdant Catacomb. Well, they're hitting their lands. Bitterbloom Command is interesting. I think I'm going to hold on to it and try to hit a Dork with it if we can. And then next turn we can get our Wasteland back if they go for a non-basic here. Like, I'd love for them to grab non-basic. Okay, they did. Like, a non-basic into a Dork to be able to kill with Bitterbloom Command would be great. Bin to Snuff Out, okay. Into a Gaia's Cradle. Well, we'll probably blow that up. Okay, are they shuffling our graveyard or their graveyard back in? Shuffling our graveyard, making some mana off of that. Okay. And then what's their 2-drop? White Reliquary? Yes. That is mildly problematic. And we're going to go ahead and just fetch now. It doesn't really matter that much. Just marginal deck thinning, basically. Removal spell? Something? Urza's Saga. Okay, well, we'll play the Saga. And then I think we probably should have done this first, honestly. But we're going to do this. See what we can hit here. Uh, Lost 2 removal spells to that, which feels pretty bad, but oh well. This one might be slipping away here, unfortunately. I felt really good about where we were. Take 4. Into an Urborg. Okay. Unfortunately, I mean, luckily they have nothing to stack to this white at the moment, so they can't go grab a land. Into another white, which they can now sacrifice to go get something. I mean, we're going to take the 4. That's unfortunately not what this game is about here. So let's make a dude. And then again, we will do some very marginal deck thinning. Just grab another Bayou. See what we draw here. Another Verdant. Make some dudes. I think we probably want the currency converter here. Just grab a currency converter. Let's play the Urborg. And then we'll pass the turn. We can kill a white if they sacrifice it. I'm not going to get in. We can double block a white. Guarantee that we kill one. Or force them to go get their Talon Gates. Into a Grist. Yeah, this is slipping away, unfortunately. Okay, gonna uptick Grist. That's fine. They are going to get in with both. So we're going to double block one of them. And they're going to fetch. Ooh, so they can actually do both. Okay. What are they going to Talon Gates out of the way then? They're going to Talon Gates one of those out of the way. Okay. Do they have multiple Talon Gates? They do. Okay, so it's Hail Mary for one of the 2 Fatal Pushes left in my deck. And we don't get there. Okay. Cradle control. Not what I was expecting, but okay. It's good to know that these play multiple Talon Gates, though. That said, we are bringing in the Ley Lines. We're going to bring in the Shoulder's Edicts. And we're going to bring in Pithing Needle. We're going to kind of do the trim stuff we had talked about previously. I don't think we need Ghost Vacuum if we have Ley Lines. Trim a Tevils. They're not drawing a ton of cards, but Orcish Bowmasters is a lot of small bodies for them to have to deal with. But I think we might take the Bowmasters out. And maybe bring in one Deluge for the last Bowmasters, just as kind of a mop-up thing. But Pithing Needle to shut down Grist, White of the Reliquary, that stuff. Shoulder's Edict is removal and Ley Lines to keep the graveyard under control for Grist and White. And yeah, let's start out. Alright. So I like this. Yeah, I think we'll keep this. Start out with Verdant. Do I want Verdant into Currency Converter? I might honestly just start out with Urza Saga into Currency Converter. Or I could start Wasteland into Currency Converter. That might be better. Yeah, we'll start out with Wasteland, Currency Converter. Pass the turn. Alright, Misty from the opponent, so that gives us a little bit of a breather here. Formless Genesis. Okay. I think we're going to play Verdant, crack it, go grab a Bayou, and we're going to get the Loam online now. Start making it so that we can possibly start doing Formless Genesis stuff here. Or if they drop something I need to kill, I can always Toxic Deluge. Collector, oof. Okay. I'm not actually super worried about that at the moment. Yeah, I'm actually not really super worried about that. Urza Saga Mox Diamond. I think we might start the Formless Genesis stuff here. Go ahead and crack the Verdant. Let's grab another Bayou. I think we're just going to Formless Genesis. Get this started. Have a blocker, start getting shit back. Alright, got a 2-2 for now. And then next turn we'll probably Urza's Saga and possibly I don't know, we'll see. I can't take all of the lands back out of my graveyard. Depending on what they do here, we also could just like Toxic Deluge and mop up the board. Hopefully this isn't a Grist. Oh, Endurance. Okay. Well, that's one way to kill this. That is annoying. Oh, it just keeps his power and toughness. Okay, it's a one-time check, apparently. I did not know that. Okay. I mean, that's good to know. And a Mox Diamond. Well, let's play Urza Saga. And then we will go ahead and cast our Mox Diamond, pitch in Cabal Pit. We are not going to put it under the currency converter because we can't use it right now anyways. And we will just loam back our pit, get this engine back online again. And we're just going to hold back on D at the moment. I could, in theory, deluge the board, but I want to wait until I have something better to do. They're getting in with the Endurance. Do I want to block this and get it off the board? I feel like this is a trick somehow. I got some life. We'll take the hit for 3. That's fine. Our life total is a resource. Granted, we don't want it to get so low that we can't Toxic Deluge. Alright. We are going to go ahead and dredge. Well, do we need to dredge the loam yet? I don't think we need to dredge the loam yet. We can wait. Into a Small Pox. Okay. Into Disruptor Flutes. Are they just going to name Urza Saga? Do I care if they name Urza Saga? I mean, I've got enough mana to do everything anyways, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and do it. Shit! Fuck! I meant to hit cancel! Oh well, whatever, it's fine. I'm just all about the misclicks today. It's fine. Yeah, they name Urza Saga. Well, the ability was on the stack anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter that much. We will play Cabal Pit. I'm floating mana for no reason here, but it's whatever. We're going to see if they want to block with anything first. Get in with this, because it's all going to die anyways. Okay, they're just going to take the hit. And then I am going to... Let's blow up one of their lands. We're taking more damage than we need to, but... And then we need to do this for 4. Wipe the board. And now our stuff is online. Assuming they don't have another oof. I can start loaming stuff back. Into a Grist. Okay, we can shut that down. I'm not super concerned about that yet. We're not going to dredge yet. Take a draw. Okay. Float for mana. Go grab Pithing Needle. Name Grist the Hunger Tide. We can play Ghost Quarter. Let's basic check them. We can get it back anyways. Okay, they didn't have a basic there. We are going to tap that. Tap this. We're going to Small Pox. Sacrifice the Cabal Pit. And then we can activate Currency Converter to dredge Loam and then chuck it back into the graveyard, which might not be a bad idea. We are going to dredge Loam just to get more stuff into the graveyard. We are not going to put Loam under there. No. We're going to keep Loam. Pass the turn. We're going to dredge Loam back, get Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter their last land. Like, our plan at this point is just get them off of any possible mana. Because we've already proven we can basic check them. I am a little worried about some kind of creature sneaking in here. Currian Ranger. Okay. Return a Forest. So we can't kill the Forest. We're going to dredge the Loam. We have a Formless Genesis in the yard again. Ghost Quarter, Wasteland, Underground Mortuary. They can't have 2 mana next turn. I think we're just going to Wasteland them and then pass the turn. Just try to keep them off of mana. We can't completely keep them off of mana, but we can try our best. So they can attack there. We can dredge Loam again and then cast... Or maybe we just cast Formless Genesis, take a turn off, get a creature on the battlefield. Is this a Green Sun? Yes, Green Sun for 1. They're trying to get their mana under them, so I'm assuming this is going to be a mana dork. Okay, it is a Elvish Reclaimer. Alright, I think we're just going to take a natural draw here. Okay. They can bounce that, because what, it's once per turn? Well, let's play this order. Flashback Formless Genesis. We will chuck the swamp. We will put the swamp under the currency converter, because this equals a token. Get a Formless Genesis back, that's going to be a 3/3. I actually did that wrong. I should have done the currency converter with that on the stack to make it a little bit bigger, but I think we're fine for now. This also allows me to try to kill the forest the second time they put it into play. Sylvan Safekeeper, okay, that protects their creatures. They're getting in with that? Okay, I mean, we'll block it. Kill the Elvish Reclaimer, that's fine. Alright, throw this in the bin. Get a token. I'm still very scared about what could happen over there. I think I want to dredge here. We will dredge. Hit a bunch more stuff. Let's Formless Genesis. Use my token. Chuck the Underground Mortuary. Okay, we're going to try to do this the proper way now. With this on the stack. I'm just all about clicking the wrong form here. So this is going to put that land back in the graveyard to make this token bigger. And give me some extra mana. And then I can Underground Mortuary, Wasteland, Swamp. Oops, I did not mean to tap that Ghost Quarter. Okay, that's fine. We haven't played a land yet this turn. Okay, and our opponent scoops it up. We were able to get the hooks in there. I like that. We are significantly lower on clock than our opponent this time around, so we do have to be cognizant of that. But I think I want to bring the other Deluge in, to be completely honest here. Just be able to mop up the board. I think we'll trim one ley line here and try that. Okay, I like this. We can keep this. Start out with ley line in play, and then probably do Underground Mortuary into something. Sylvan Safekeeper, okay. I don't super care about that at the moment. I think we're just going to start out with Underground Mortuary. Urborg. Yeah, I think I want to just keep drawing lands at this point. And then we will work up to 3 mana and go ahead and just wipe the board. Okay, Wasteland, it's annoying, but we can always Wasteland them back. That was their 1 land for the turn. Okay, into a Hierarch. Okay, so we're getting Urborg. I think we just play Urborg. Like I said, work our way up to being able to just wipe the board here. Talon Gates of Madara. Okay, that's still mostly fine. We'll take 2. We can Witherbloom command something to force them to sack a land, which is probably what we're going to do here. Ooh, actually, we hit a Mox Diamond. We can just wipe the board here. Let's play Wasteland, play Mox Diamond, Chuck Bayou, Deluge for 1 to mop up the board. Yeah, I don't think there's anything they can flash in here that helps. Like, they could flash in an Endurance, but we have Endurance taken care of. I mean, yeah, if this is an Endurance, that's actually fine. We have Smallpox to be able to kill it. And then kind of just try to take over the game from there. Into a Collector Oof. Okay. They're going to have to choose what they want to keep here. Let's go ahead and kill that. Double black. Smallpox. We'll chuck Witherbloom command. See what they want to get rid of here. Okay. I think we're going to get rid of the Urza Saga, as painful as that is. We have another one in hand. Like, this is a very risky line. And, of course, they had the Guy's Cradle. Okay. So, basically, we just need to hit another land. That's another land. Okay. Play Saga. And then we got to hope that we can fend them off until our constructs can take over. They're hitting lands, which is annoying, but it looks like that might be all that they have. Because they are just passing the turn here. Do they have a Disruptor Flute? Yes. Okay, that is annoying. So I need to start hitting stuff that matters here. A Lily would be great. Barrenmore is kind of whatever at this point. Undo. Tap this for black. Let's cycle the Barrenmore, see what we draw. Another Toxic Deluge. Okay, I mean, that can wipe up the Collector Oof. But our life total is getting dangerously low. Scythecat Cub, okay. Okay, that's gonna get very quickly out of range. Yeah, this is bad because they can double these counters, make it a 5/5, and then I can't, or no, a 4/4, and then I can't realistically deluge now. Ugh, that's disappointing. See if we draw some kind of Hail Mary something here. That is definitely not it. Do we have anything here that helps? Currency converter, Mox Diamond. Yeah, we're just dead here. All right. Just to send a message on the way out. We're gonna go out on our own terms. Oh, it won't let me pay more than 3. Just going out on our own terms here. Good game, opponent. Good game. That was super close. All right, on to the next one. All right, so it's the next day. We had some tornadoes go through yesterday, so I had to cut the filming a little bit short just in case we lost power. But uh, yeah, so with that out of the way, I actually kind of like this. We have the Loam Wasteland stuff going on. We have Smallpox. We have a Bowmasters, and we have an Urza Saga. So I actually kind of like where we're at with this one, so we're going to go ahead and keep it. And opponent kept on 7. Into a Misty to start things off. I think we're going to start off on the Underground Mortuary unless we get something to do on turn 1. Another Saga. Yeah, we'll start out with the Mortuary. That's fine. And we're actually going to keep this Teval's Judgment on top. We have the Loam to be able to start taking advantage of it. So we might actually, I don't know, we'll see what we do here. We might just go ahead and Saga start ticking it up with the plan of dropping Orcish Bowmasters. And then start doing the Teval Lomi stuff after that. But we'll see. But Misty from the opponent, they crack, grab an island into a ponder. Hopefully they're on something slow and grindy, because that'll give us time to be able to get everything all set up. And opponent appears to pass. They shuffled off of that ponder. With the Tevals coming down, I'm just kind of debating if I want to start ticking the Saga up or not. I lose out on some construct value if I do that, but I also can kind of ramp my mana a bit depending on what we grab. And I give up on at least one construct if I do that. I think that's fine considering the fact that we're going to be able to start loaming them back, and our game plan is to get into the late game, and this is going to be a long match anyways. So I think what our plan is going to be is Lash and Bowmasters this turn. Next turn, we'll just play the Teval's Judgment. Give up on one construct. Ooh, Ancient Tomb. Is this Show and Tell? It's a stock up. Okay. So we could be up against like Omni-Tell, Sneak and Show, something like that, which I really don't think we have a very good game plan against. We might actually hold off on Teval's Judgment and Wasteland away this Ancient Tomb. Granted, they probably still can get to 3 mana anyways, but it at least stops them from like 4 mana plays unless they have another Ancient Tomb. And we do have Smallpox to try to punish some of this. I don't think they have a full grip though, but we're gonna go ahead and do this. See if this draws a counter out or anything. Not yet. Okay. Take out the Urza Saga. Another life from the Loam. I think we're just gonna Wasteland the Ancient Tomb here. And then I can get Loam in the yard now just to get that kind of started, start loaming back Wastelands, and get set up to be able to Saga. Let's get in for attacks first. And yeah, I think we're just going to get the Loam in the yard now just so we can get that engine going as soon as we get Teval's Judgment down. Alright, that resolves. We got the Wasteland back. If they just Show and Tell in like an Emrakul, then we can Smallpox it away. If it's like an Omniscience or something, then we're kind of just fucked. But and they are fetching exclusively basics here, so I mean, I guess we're gonna see. Okay, they're going to Show and Tell in. Let's play Teval's Judgment. Okay, there's the Omniscience. We're dead. Unless they have to just play a bunch of cantrips and they don't actually have the finisher, which is a very real possibility. Intuition, so they can go find their finisher now. I'm assuming they're just going to get a pile of Emrakuls here. Yeah, pile of Emrakuls. We will go to the next one. This is unfortunately not a matchup I feel particularly confident in. And it's kind of weird seeing ever since Stock Up and the nerf to Reanimator that Show and Tell is kind of just popping up all over the place now. So with that said, we are going to Shoulder's Edicts, Haywire Might, pick your poison. There's something to be said about bringing in Mindbreak Trap, because that can free counter something the turn they go off. Their graveyard is not going to matter at all, so we can take out Ghost Vacuum pretty easily. We can, unfortunately, probably turn a Teval's Judgment. Fatal Pushes aren't going to do anything. Witherbloom Command probably isn't going to do anything this matchup either, so we can probably take those out. And then just trim a Rumble, trim a Loam. Bring in Edicts to try to kill their creature if it gets in. Haywire Might and Pick Your Poison to take out an Omniscience if we get to our turn. Mindbreak Trap to kind of stop them from just popping off, hopefully. So yeah, let's try something like that. Okay, let's see if we can get this. Okay, I actually like this. We have 2 mana on turn 1. Working our way up to Formless Genesis or Teval's Judgment. We have a Pick Your Poison, and we have a Thoughtseize. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We're banking on hitting a 3rd land pretty hard, but the deck is almost 50% mana. So we got like a 50-50 shot of drawing mana here. Also, if they just show and tell in a creature and pass the turn without doing anything, we do have Pick Your Poison to try to pick it off. All the creatures they play have flying. Nice little bonus side effect of having Pick Your Poison versus Show and Tell, because like Atraxa has flying, Emrakul has flying. At least I'm pretty sure Emrakul has flying. It'd be really weird if it didn't. I don't know. I actually haven't looked at Emrakul in a while. Does it have flying? We're gonna find out. Alright, start out with a Thoughtseize. Intuition, Dress Down, Brainstorm. So Intuition definitively finds them what they need. The rest of this is kinda whatever. So I think we take the Intuition here. Play out the Mox Diamond, chuck a Wasteland. We've already seen that they can play on basics pretty easily. So, unfortunately, unless it's a fetch land, our Formless Genesis token is going to be pretty small. But it's something to start out with. Island from the opponent, they pass a turn. That's fine. Okay, I mean, that is a fetch land. So I think we're going to go ahead, go grab our Bayou. I don't think we got to worry about like moon effects or whatever. Plus, we have this anyways. And let's just get a creature down and start getting our beats in. See how much they respect this. They're not doing anything yet. Like, it's on the stack. I'm wondering if they're considering countering it. Okay, it gets in. So far, it's just a 2-2, but that's fine for now. We're just going to kind of hope that, like... Okay, there's a Brainstorm. We're kind of hoping that they just fumble around trying to find their pieces, because they still got to get A and B out of this. However, this is a 10-turn clock, and they have a whole shitload of cantrips, so... We might just get Teval's Judgment down next turn to start trying to get some value if we find one of our loans or something. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, following up their Brainstorm with a Misty. So the information is pretty much unknown at this point, because they're also going to be able to fetch around it. We did draw a Teval, or the Bayou. I think we're going to get in first. I'm just debating if we need to start trying to go as aggro as possible or get our value in. I think we need to go as aggro as possible here, because this significantly speeds up our clock. It goes from a 10-turn clock to a 4-turn clock. Like, I don't like that I'm just putting creatures on the battlefield, but... Alright, grab the basic forest. They theoretically can go off this turn now. I'm just these very well may not be in hand anymore, but I'm just keeping them up to be safe. Alright, so they aren't there yet. Got the Flooded Strand in. Urza's Saga. I think we'll play Saga, and we will play Teval's Judgment, so that I can start getting some value off of recasting Formless Genesis. Okay, that resolved. We'll get in. I'm still hoping they kind of just haven't found anything relevant yet. Like, I don't know, like, we have a good board presence and everything, but because of the fact that they can just pop off, I'm concerned. Alright, so I think they're doing this just to cantrip. I don't think there's any 1-mana flash creature that can screw this up. Like, them losing their abilities is kind of irrelevant, so I'm pretty sure that Dress Down was just a cantrip. Crack in the Flooded Strand, okay. I guess we'll see how bad this is, because this is their show and tell mana here. But the last time we saw their hand, they did need A and B, but they still have a full grip of 7, so it's very easy that they could have it now. But they aren't just slamming it, so... Okay, there's the Ancient Tomb. Okay, they're going to stock up. So, in theory, this means that they only get one more draw step before they're just dead on board. But they're looking at 5 and they get to take 2. So we will see what happens here. I'd love a Thoughtseize or something. Okay, Bowmasters is actually pretty decent. If they just try to fire off a cantrip or something, we can Bowmaster. So get him for 5, put him to 4. Their Ancient Tomb comes at a real cost now. And there's nothing else we can really do at the moment, so we'll just pass and hope that maybe the surprise Bowmaster can get there. They're going to Brainstorm now. I think we're going to take the risk. They could have counter magic for this Bowmaster, but it puts them to 3, and it gets 2 more cards out of their hand. Oh, they're going to Veil of Summer. Okay. So that does protect them. I mean, we'll just ping one of our changelings. That's fine. Oh, I forgot these are armies, technically. So I don't even get a token out of this. I just grow my own thing. I totally forgot that these are changelings. Fun little interaction, just in case you're ever aware of this. However, this does shut off their cantrips for next turn. And this Ancient Tomb does come at a very real cost. So basically just got to dodge this Brainstorm and whatever the hell they do next turn. But the Bowmaster is in play now, so their cantrips are all liabilities. Alright, they didn't get there. Oh, holy shit, that was close. I'm still super iffy about the Mindbreak traps. Like, they could do something, but they also could just be irrelevant. I'm really torn on if I should keep these in or not. But that said, I think we're just going to run it back. Okay, I like this. This is a turn 1 Bowmasters. And then we also have Currency Converter to start doing stuff. We have Beseiju to be able to blow up an Omniscience if they sneak it into play. So we're going to go ahead and keep this. Volcanic Island into a Ponder. Okay. So they probably do have Sneak Attack then, if they've got red. Shuffled their library. I like that. Ooh, Liliana of the Veil. I like that quite a bit. We'll start out with Bayou. Cast Mox Diamond. Pitch the Urborg. I don't think we need that, and we will pass. This allows us to be able to put the Bowmasters in off of a Show and Tell and still hold up Beseiju, if that's just what they're going for. Okay, so they're not doing that yet. So I think what we're going to do here is just flash in the Bowmasters, see if this gets a counter out of hand. Okay, it does not. It looks like they don't have counter magic at the moment. So I can do this. Oh, well, I got another Bowmaster, so that kind of makes my life a little easier here. So we will play Verdant, get in. I think since we drew the Bowmaster, we're just going to repeat what we did last turn. But we will play the Currency Converter here. If they don't do anything, we will flash in the Bowmasters. If they do a Show and Tell, we can show in the Bowmasters. Intuition. Okay. Okay, so they're getting a Show and Tell. So the question just becomes, what do they show in off of the Show and Tell? We will also get a trigger on the stack from the Bowmasters going into play. Before they do anything, we're going to go ahead and fetch, just so we don't have like some weird spot where they can pop off an instant on us in response as well to the fetch trigger, so that we have Beseiju up. All right, here comes the Show and Tell. Let's see how bad it is. Show and Tell. Okay, this is going to resolve. We're going to put Orcish Bowmasters into play. Okay, so there's a trigger on the stack here. We are going to Beseiju in response to our trigger. And they can do a bunch of instants here, but I'm not sure if this sets them up to be able to do anything else at the moment. So like they can instant, but they can't protect the Omniscience. They're returning Intuition to their hand. Okay. What can they Intuition for here that gets them out of this, is the question. Do they have like a Stifle to stop the Beseiju? Okay, they're going to try to go for the Cunning Wish win. The question just becomes is, do they have what they need to be able to go off here? Firemind's Foresight. So we're probably just dead here, but getting another Oral Procession, another Cunning Wish, and then I'm guessing it's Brainstorm. There's Brainstorm. So they should be able to piece this together here. Because Cunning Wish can go, well, Oral Possession can get Intuition to go grab Emrakul. So, like, there's definitely a definitive line to the win here. It's just a matter of do they see it and can they execute this properly? Oh, Sublime Epiphany. Okay, yeah, we're just definitively dead here. Like, we put up the best fight that we could, but because they had the Cunning Wish to be able to go off over the top of all of this, they're going to get the win here. Unless they just, like, royally screw this up somehow. Because they can Sublime Epiphany the Beseiju trigger. Like, this is the reason why I like Cunning Wish in these builds. I know that, like, I've seen Brian Cook from the Epic Storm say that they really don't like Cunning Wish in these, like, Sneak and Show Omni-Tell builds, but this is specifically why when I used to be a Sneak and Show main, I always, what are the counter target activated ability, return target non-land, draws a card? Okay, so they're putting back one of the Bowmasters. However, they now can kind of just do their thing. And they Veil of Summer. Okay, yeah, we'll just yield through the turn. See if they screw up this line somehow. That's fine. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just throw it under there. Yep, there's the Emrakul. Okay, good game, opponent. That was actually super close. But, yeah, this is, like I was saying, this is why when I was a Sneak and Show main, I always ran the Cunning Witch build, because it allows you to just kind of go off over the top like that. But, alright, on to the final round. Alright, final round, playing for the positive record. I like this. We're going to go ahead and keep it. Hopefully our opponent's on something fair and blue. Oh boy, another combo deck of some sort. This could be Doomsday. This could be another Sneak and Show variant. I think we're going to just start ticking up Saga here. Play out our Mox Diamond. I think, just because I'm a little worried about another Sneak and Show variant, I think I am going to go ahead and chuck the Verdant here. Hold up Bowmasters. This does theoretically prevent us from being able to Smallpox if we need to, but I don't think we're going to run into Smallpox. We're going to run into a position where we need to Smallpox. Being mono islands, I'm thinking this might actually be High Tide. And that's kind of how this seems to be panning out so far. I'm going to flash this in now. It does let them get a Brainstorm in over the top of it, but I want to be mana efficient here. Bowmasters has been sitting on the stack for quite a bit now. I think they're debating if they want to counter this. The nice part is Bowmasters does kind of do some work against High Tide, because a lot of their stuff is card draw. Like Time Spiral is card draw. Unfortunately, Mind's Desire is not, but okay, Bowmasters resolved. Ping their face, start getting a clock in, start punishing their cantrips. Another Smallpox. I think we're just going to play the Beseiju and pass. We'll hold off on casting the Teval's Judgment for now. I think we're just going to try to go for the Construct beats at the moment. I am very much getting High Tide vibes from our opponent here. They're trying to cast something. Alright, cycling another Lorien reveal. This is very much High Tide based off of what I'm seeing here. And I'm a little concerned what that means for us. Game 1, I don't feel great here. Oh, it's Thought Lash combo. Okay. That's a little different. Again, I'm a little concerned here. I'm actually kind of upset that I didn't hold up the Beseiju to be able to kill that now. But let's make a construct. We're going to make it so that they have to get rid of a ton of their board here. Ooh, Thoughtseize. Unfortunately, that means I have to hold up mana here. I can't make another construct. So we're going to go ahead and make some mana. And then I'm trying to think if Ghost Vacuum or Currency Converter is going to be better here. I think Currency Converter, like, they don't really use their graveyard that much. And we grab the Currency Converter, use our mana effectively here to Malevolent Rumble. Then we will get in to try to force them to activate this and mill some shit. And hope that they've only got, like, one Thassa's Oracle in hand. Wasteland, Bayou, Urborg. I don't really think any of this matters. Let's just grab the Urborg. Actually, let's grab the Bayou. I don't want to give them black mana. I don't think it's particularly going to matter giving them black mana, but we'll see. I could Smallpox here, but they only need 2 mana to be able to do their thing, is the problem. So I think this turn I'm better off just Thoughtseizing them to hopefully get the Thassa's Oracle out of their hand. We're going to see if they bother trying to prevent any of this damage. Does not look like it. And then we're going to go ahead and just Thoughtseize them here and hope for the best. If they have, okay, they have protection, so I'm guessing that means they probably have the Thoracle in hand here, so we just have to pass, unfortunately. And then we just kind of got to see what they got. Like, this probably means they have the Thoracle, and they just pop off here. Yep, that's the Thoracle. Step through for Wizard Cycling. I'm going to let them do the thing just so I can see what's in their deck here. So, yeah, unfortunately, like, what I'm finding with this deck and what I've seen with practicing it as well is, like, it's just a little too slow and fair up against combo decks. It really, really seems to prey on the fair mid-range control style decks and stuff. And I was really hoping with like the Delver style decks and Dimir Tempo being the top of the meta that that's what we would run into and be able to prey onto it. But these last 2 rounds in particular, we've just hit pure combo. So is there anything kind of out of the ordinary in here? Not really. It's pretty much just the standard mono blue version. Yeah, okay. So we'll go to game 3. Bring in the Pick Your Poisons to try to help stop this kind of shit here. Bring in Pick Your Poisons. Bring in Haywire Might and Pithing Needle. Their graveyard isn't going to matter, so we can probably take out Witherbloom Command or Ghost Vacuum. Their winning enchantments are greater than 2, so we can take out the Witherbloom commands pretty easily here. And seeing as we kind of want to go fast, again, I'm sorry, I feel like Teval's Judgment, like, this is for mid-range grindy matchups. There's also something we said about bringing in Mindbreak Trap, but I don't think they're going to be casting more than 2 spells in a turn to pop off. So let's try something like that. Okay, let's see if we can squeak back into this one. This is Bowmaster into Currency Converter. I don't think this is enough, especially if they mulligan for a much faster hand. This is entirely unkeepable. Already going to 5. Okay, this is much better. We can keep this. I think we're bottoming Teval's Judgment, and probably the Wasteland. It feels bad to chuck Urza's Saga right off of the bat, or we could chuck the Urborg. Or we could bottom Urborg, keep... Well, Wasteland isn't going to do anything in our graveyard, so even loaming it back really isn't a big deal here. So I think what we're going to do is Urza's Saga, Mox Diamond, Lash and Bowmasters, and then Thoughtseize them. So yeah, we'll put the Wasteland to the bottom here. And then this also gets Saga ticking up to go get Pithing Needle for Thought Lash. Let's put Urborg in the yard, and we'll pass a turn. We'll flash in Bowmasters at end step. Plan on Thoughtseizing them next turn. Because their first couple of turns are normally just set up. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, that's fine. Like, I mean, admittedly, that shuts down our graveyard a bit, but I don't think that's realistically what we're going to be doing here. But our best draw right now, honestly, is going to be a land. Malevolent Rumble. Okay. So we can Thoughtseize or we can Malevolent Rumble here. Let's get into attack first. They shouldn't be able to go off this turn. So I think we're going to go ahead and Malevolent Rumble to try to find some stuff and get our mana under us a little bit here. This could also find us a land to still be able to Thoughtseize. And, I mean, it finds us a Haywire Might, which is interesting. Bowmaster, Loam, Forest. Do I want the mana or do I want the Haywire Might? We're going to be able to go get Pithing Needle next turn anyway, so I think we're going to go take the Forest here. I was really hoping for a black land to still be able to Thoughtseize them, but we'll pass the turn here. And then we can still make a Construct and Thoughtseize next turn regardless. Like, there is a world where they could, like, Paradigm Shift here, and then they have Force of Will with Thassa's Oracle in their hand. Like, that very much is a possibility, something that can go off right now. I think Paradigm Shift is 2 mana. Ancient Tomb. Okay, they're going to stock up. Okay. It is kind of funny that modern card draw design specifically doesn't draw because of Orcish Bowmasters. Like, it's kind of interesting they've started doing that. Okay, so opponent found their 2 cards, is passing the turn. What do we draw? Do we want to loam yet? No, they have an active Soul Guide Lantern. There's no real need to do that. Into a Verdant Catacombs. Make a dude. Go grab Pithing Needle, name Thought Lash. Alright, get our dude. I don't think there's any 0 mana Stifle effect here, but we're going to grab Pithing Needle, name Thought Lash, play our land, get in for our 2, and then we are going to Thoughtseize. They're gonna Force of Will it, pitching a Thought Lash. Okay, so uh if they have Petal and land, they can Paradigm Shift and do their thing this turn. The One Ring. Okay, well, they get 1 free draw off of that. We'll just ping our Orc Army. This does hamper them quite a bit going forward. Like, they do get a Fog for a turn, but this shuts down a lot of their Smallpox. That's each player. I actually think I like that. We're going to keep that on top. We are not going to Dredge. And we are going to Smallpox here. We will sack the Orc Army. And this still gets damage through, still makes them discard a card. Is opponent wanting to Force of Will this? No. Alright, we'll sack the Orc Army. Sack the Forest. They chucked a Cavern of Souls. And they lost an island. Okay. Now we will pass the turn. Their Ancient Tomb comes at a real cost. Their One Ring comes at a real cost. Plays an Otawara. Plays a Thassa's Oracle. Okay. This is probably just a value Thassa's Oracle and a blocker to try to preserve their life total. I really wish this showed if they actually put something on the top of their library or not. Ooh, yep, they're tapping the Ancient Tomb. Or tapping the One Ring. Keep tapping that Ancient Tomb. Or keep tapping that, well, the Ancient Tomb too, but tap the One Ring also. Alright, I would like just some more discard here, I think. We are not going to Dredge. Barrenmore is interesting. I think we're going to get in an attack first, and then we will cycle this Barrenmore. Get in with both of these, because it guarantees damage gets through. Because they can block the 2/2, they take 3, go to 3, then go to 1. And we basically just have to dodge a draw step, because they can't draw with the One Ring here. Into a land. Okay. We will just pass the turn. We just gotta dodge their draw step, basically. Like, there's nothing we can do here. What is your draw step? Because they can't tap the One Ring, they can't tap their Ancient Tomb, they realistically only have 2 mana. Okay, we picked up game 2. Going on to the final game of the final match. Is there anything else we would want to change here? I still don't think Witherbloom Command is going to be super important. Like, the Drain might be relevant. The fact that they're bringing in Graveyard Hate kind of makes me want to do some stuff here. Like, I saw the Hermit Druid, which is why I kept the Fatal Pushes in, but I think we're just going to take the Fatal Pushes in or out, bring the Witherbloom commands in. Like, the Hermit Druid is mostly to protect their stuff, but I think we're going to try this, bring these in. The little life drain off of these could also be relevant to get the last few points of damage in. So let's try that. Okay, I like this. We're going to keep this. This allows us to double Thoughtseize on 1, Liliana turn 2, into an Ancient Tomb. Okay. We could also just try to blow up the Ancient Tomb, but they have basics. So I'm not super into... Ooh. And a Pithing Needle. Well, I think we're going to start off with a Thoughtseize, see what's going on over there, make our plan accordingly. Step through Preordain. So we can just take all of their cantrips out of their hands now. So we take the Step Through, cast Mox Opal, chuck the Ghost Quarter, Thoughtseize their card draw, and then next turn we slam Lily. There's Lotus Petal. There's a land. Okay. So depending on what we draw here, we're probably just going to slam Uptick Lily. Orcish Bowmasters. Maybe we hold off for a turn. Yeah, I think we're going to hold off for a turn. We are going to Pithing Needle, Thought Lash again. And then we are going to flash in Orcish Bowmasters to try to punish any cantrips they have. One of their unknowns with another land. Okay. Flash in the Bowmasters. Unfortunately, they're getting to the point where they could pop off in one turn, but we know there's a Cavern and Otawara and one unknown. They could always just Otawara back one of these. Can this hit a Planeswalker? Yes. They could also Otawara back or Liliana in response to the discard trigger, but they might be tempted to just Otawara the Pithing Needle or the Orcish Bowmasters. Knowing the Otawara in hand does make this Lily a little risky, because they can bounce something we want in response to the Lily uptick to make us discard it if we don't have something else we want to discard in hand. Okay, Smallpox is actually fine here. We are going to play Lily, and whatever they bounce back to our hand, we're just going to discard the Smallpox. Because the smart thing here is to bounce something in response to this, hoping we discard it, but we're just going to discard this. Oh, okay, they're not going to. Okay. Chuck the Cavern, unless they're trying to set up to be able to bounce the Pithing Needle to go off in one turn. But they're very quickly going to be in a position where they can't do that. All right, no draw, or no play, or they're just going to do a second main. I actually wouldn't mind a Loam here. Okay, so this is extremely risky because I would like this Bowmasters to increase my clock, but the fact that I already have one, I think we're going to risk it here. Yep, check the Bowmaster. They check a Force of Will, okay. So they're still trying to get into a position where they can bounce the needle and go off all in one turn, I think. But we're just going to basically just keep beating down. Like, we have a clock on the battlefield already. I mean, admittedly, this is a slow clock, but we're also getting to the point where they only are ever going to have 2 cards in hand, and we can ultimate this Lily. Chuck the Paradigm Shift. Okay, so they're keeping the Otawara in hand. They're still trying to set up to be able to do it. Okay, they're going to stock up. They're starting to get more cards in their hand now. Now that we know they can't cast the Otawara, we can play whatever we draw, play a land. Otawara costs 4. So we know we can play whatever we draw. And it's a Verdant. Take up Lily. We could restrict them on some mana by down-ticking, but I don't think that's relevant here. Alright, they bin the Otawara. That's interesting. Get in for the attack. Their end step, we're going to go ahead and Surveil. It looks like they've given up on that. Okay, they're going to Impulse. Okay. So they're going to try to do something here, but they've still got 8 cards in library. So let's Surveil, see what we can find. See if it's anything relevant here. I don't hate Malevolent Rumble. We'll keep that. Draw the Rumble, play the Rumble. A Smallpox would be nice. So what did they lose? Is there more than one Otawara in the build is the question. Trying to think if there's any way they can get through the 8 cards in their library and play whatchamacallit. We also might just negative Lily here to restrict their mana so that it's harder for them to try to go off. And I think if we do that... Alright, so we can Bayou, we can Cabal Pit. I would have liked that Thoughtseize, unfortunately, but let's grab Bayou. It just comes down to, if we do this, we probably what? They could have these 3 or these 2. Well, let's attack. Because I'm trying to think if there's any way that they can go off in one turn. If they have another Paradigm Shift, they can Paradigm Shift and then Thoracle. But they would need both in hand, or they would need to draw one of them blind. How many Paradigm Shifts are gone? 2, 3. Okay, there's 3 Paradigm Shifts gone. So I'm guessing that means they have Paradigm Shift and a Thassa's Oracle in hand. Because, yeah, there's 1, 2, 3 Paradigm Shifts. There were no Oracles or Paradigm Shifts in their graveyard. So I'm guessing that means both of those are in hand. I mean, this is a risk, but we're going to go for it. If I get this read wrong, okay, Force of Will. I don't remember there being a Thassa's Oracle in the graveyard. All right, opponent is passing. I think we might just go ahead and downtick the Lily, but I don't like them having multiple cards in hand. We'll see what we draw here. We also could dredge life from the Loam, start hitting their mana. So I could dredge Loam, cast Loam, go after their mana, downtick Lily, and then they can either have their 2 blue mana or they can have their Lotus Petal. Because there were no basics in their graveyard. I think that's what we're actually going to do here. Wasteland, Verdant, Ghost Quarter. Get these back. We could also Wasteland their Ancient Tomb and then split their pile. There were no basics in their pile. I mean, either way, we put them down to they only get 2 blue mana. Because we can Wasteland this, split their pile. Alright, we're going to take out the Ancient Tomb. We can hold back the Eldrazi spawn. And then downtick the Lily. And I think we do this. Have it so that they only have 2 mana. Either way, this leaves them with 2 mana. Alright, they kept the 2 lands. We passed the turn. They passed the turn. Like, we still gotta kill them before they have 2 cards in hand. Or 2 cards in deck. And I think our clock allows us to do that. We also start attacking their mana here. I don't think there were any basics in their deck. Or in their graveyard. Because unfortunately, if this does not work, this does actually thin their deck a smidge. So we're taking a calculated risk here. I don't remember seeing any basics in their graveyard when we did this. Okay, they did not have any basics in deck. And we have not milled over a... Oh, we did mill over a Formless Genesis. Okay. Hit them there. I did not see the Formless Genesis in the graveyard. We will flash... Holy shit, our opponent was pissed. They said, what a shit deck you play. Took it down, Thought Lash. Holy shit, okay, positive record and a salty fucking opponent. Okay, I like it. This was fucking great. We'll address all this in the wrap-up. Okay, so that was a hell of a grindy league. That was a blast to play. Unfortunately, Teval's Judgement really didn't come up during the league. There was one game where we would have been able to take over the game with it, but the opponent scooped before we could get it online. And there was another game where we got it on the board, but it was already too late, and our opponent comboed off over us. But I will say, when I was testing and tuning the deck, Teval's Judgement did come up often, and it was really easy to get the engine going. And once it started doing its thing, it kind of just popped off and took over the game between drawing cards, ramping your mana, and just creating an endless flow of tokens to beat your opponent down with their chump block with. So even though it wasn't really showcased in this video, I really do like Teval's Judgement in this deck, and I think it's a really, really meaningful upgrade to the deck. I think I would probably cut it down to only 2 instead of 3 main deck, just because the format is so fast right now, and that card is really meant more for the grindy matchups against tempo and control decks. But that being said, this deck was a blast to play. I really liked Formless Genesis. We got to see that kind of pop off. And despite how fast the format is in general right now, it still felt really powerful to play a grindy, attrition-based strategy. And as you saw, we kind of just chewed up the mostly fair stuff. We got a little lucky against some of the combo opponents in the fact that they were playing slower combo or had some bad draws. But outside of that, if you think your local meta is going to be much more blue mages and much more mid-range, grindy, tempo control style decks, I highly recommend this deck. It feels like it just eats those strategies alive. If you're going into a more combo-centric meta, I might change a few things to increase some more discard and remove some of the removal, and maybe have a few more targeted like lockout pieces for the types of combo decks you expect to face, because this does feel really weak against combo in general. But overall, yeah, the deck felt great. Again, thank you to Art for the donation and the Pox community for their input on some of the card choices and crafting this final version of the deck. I hope you all had as much fun watching this as I did playing it. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.